We're good now? Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you the quick and dirty branding, as I call it, branding 101. We're going to talk logos, we're going to talk color, we're going to talk some do's and don'ts. And then if you have questions, I can answer them today, I can answer them tomorrow, I can answer them all the way right up until your project is due. And Ms. Bishop knows how to get a hold of me fairly quickly. So with that said, we're going to do the basics. Just like any business, Roncalli Catholic Schools brand is integral to its success as a system. So when we talk about brand, it doesn't mean just logos, it doesn't just mean color, it doesn't just mean typefaces. It's how we talk, it's what we talk about, it's the type of photos we use, it's the type of materials we put out, so on and so forth. We're trying to create strong brand equity, and brand equity is the secret sauce. It's why you guys stand in line at Starbucks for 20 minutes to get your mocha choca latte, whatever. Or as me, as a designer, I want everything Apple. I have a Mac at home, I have my iPhone, I have all of those things. I've always worked on a Mac. Yes, I work on a PC downstairs and it hurts my soul every time I turn it on. This is why you guys wear Nike. This is why you wear Packer stuff. You guys are involved in brand equity every single day. I know my kids, I have one who is Milwaukee centrist, right? You've all seen Joe walking around, he's got his Milwaukee sweatshirt on today. If he could, he would probably bathe in Milwaukee. He is helping that brand create brand equity because he's wearing the actual logo, the actual colors, the whole 9 yards. They're trying to maintain their consistency, and that's important. It's important for us, and that's why I'm here, hopefully talking to you guys and helping you guys figure it out so that when you do your projects, you use the right logos, colors, whatever it is, so on and so forth. So this is why it's important. I know you guys are going like, no it's not, whatever. But here's some of the logos we have. So we have the system and school logos. Whether you use them or not is not my concern. My concern is whether you use them correctly. Now, I have full color versions, I have one color versions, I have different color versions, and that's where some of this will come in handy. I'm gonna start handing this stuff out. I've got 2 different sheets here. One is and this will apply to all of the school and system logos. It is a sheet. We're just going to do the work. Good. One is a sheet. It talks about just the Roncalli logos themselves. So the ones you see here, Catholic schools logo, the high school, middle school, and elementary school logos can all be applied here. Whether it's the type of logos, we have 3 different versions of the logo, and what color background they can be used on. So if you're doing something like, playing cards and or, signage or whatever it is, stickers, I don't care. You can see how those logos are used. And the same thing, we have one for the Jets logo. So if you're going to use the athletic logo, so here's the other part of this being athletics, school system. Now, you guys are going to get a little bit of artistic license, we'll talk about that later. But same rules apply, colors, we can't change colors, and we'll talk about misuses and all that other fun stuff as we go. But that's where those come in handy. So we have all of these logos. We obviously have the cross and the athletic or the Jets logo. I also can have you, and you can also use just the Jet by itself.
Move this here.
And I have that separate. So I have all of these logos as separate files. I have them as AI files, I have them as EPS files, and encapsulated PostScript files. I know you guys are going like, what the hell are all of these things? JPEGs, PNGs, SVGs, I can make just about anything. I can make a DXF out of it if you need it for putting into Autodesk Fusion. All sorts of crazy things so that you don't have to, if you're going to use I should have brought in do you have it next door?
I do, I'll grab it.
Grab that. She's going to grab the cutting board I made last year. So I took the Roncalli cross and I made a DXF file. And I was able to import that DXF directly into Fusion so that I didn't have to redraw the logo and try and make it look exactly as it was supposed to. So literally was able to take the Rock Valley Cross, import it in, have my CNC router read that file, right? Make the tool paths, so on and so forth in Adobe Fusion or in Autodesk Fusion, and it routed out to the depth that I wanted. Same thing with the blood groove around the outside, and then obviously I filled the logo with epoxy. I did an epoxy for it. First time I ever done epoxy. It was like the coolest thing ever, and I was just playing around during woodshop last year. So we can make whatever we want. So we can make the Jets logo. We can make the Jet into a DXF. We can make it so we can laser engrave things. That's me laser engraving on her tower last year. So we have all these abilities to do these things because we have a laser engraver here. I know we don't have a CNC router or a router table, but if you have access to one, we can make those things happen. So we have all of these things and more. Now, we get into some of the really nuts and bolts stuff. I put these in here because they're important. And we've got it for both. I don't want you to misuse the logo, because that's where then I'm the one who steps in and goes, nope, can't do that. And that's when people start to get crabby and go, but I want it. No. We can't rotate it, we can't squish it, we can't stretch it, we can't change the fonts in it, as you can see on the way down. You can't change the colors. Just because you don't like the Columbia and navy blue combination, doesn't mean you can go and change it. Sorry. Same thing goes for the athletic logos. You can't rotate them, can't stretch it, squish it. You can't add elements to it. So I know everybody loves the cross. I've had my battles with people already about wanting to use the cross versus the athletic logo, or use them both together. We start using things both together, we start to create some sort of confusion and some sort of, we start to erode away some of our brand equity that we've made. Now, I'm not saying we can't use them in both instances, but there are rhymes and reasons to why we use certain logos in certain places. We can talk about those as you get more and more into your projects. We don't have to discuss any kind of like specifics thing. The last two things I'll talk about. Color. Now, color is hard. Obviously, as you can see by Miss Bishop's tower, there's no color in that, other than the color of the glass because it becomes frosted from laser etching. This logo was a one-color logo, and I have one-color logos of all of this. So if you need just black because you're going to laser engrave it, because you can't laser engrave color. My students in Regional never understood that. I don't know why. They were like, but it's color. Yeah, we gotta make it black and white. Gotta do one color. We also have the full color versions. We have all the different variations that we have. And these are our two primary colors. So if you're making something that's gonna involve color, and you wanna use the Roncalli colors, here they are. In CMYK, which is our print values. So if you're making a sign, a brochure, a game that you're like, I know that we did, somebody did Monopoly last year. They would want to print all that stuff out in CMYK. So there are your values. RGB, if you're doing something digital, like if Miss Bishop could go in here and plan each LED with a different color, she'd want to use the RGB or the hex code color. So those are the values you would plug in. So if you're on your computer, on your Chromebook, whatever, and you're playing around and making stuff in Google Docs, 43066 will give you the right color or the right tone for our navy blue. Or you can use the hex code color, which is a 6-digit code with letters and numbers. That gets you the same value. Same thing for the Columbia blue. So that's all on here on those two sheets as well. So you've got them at your command. We also, just a little insight into the cross. The cross in the full color version is not actually white. It's 5% gray. It's 5% black. So it's like 0005, or there's a specific hex code. But if you make it white, I don't think anybody's going to notice the difference between white, pure white, and 5% gray. Don't tell anybody I told you that. That's on video too, so there, it's terrible. Anyways, these are the colors. Can you use other colors? Sure. Question mark? We'd have to see where you're gonna use that color. Like the Monopoly game, obviously it's not gonna be all navy blue and Columbia blue. That would be boring as all get out. But if we're gonna put the logo on top of something, we're gonna make sure we put the logo on top of the right color or no color or vice versa. And that's where I can help. So if you get into that point, you go, hey, Ms. Bishop, I should really have Mr. Hanson come up and check on this. She'll call me, I'll make my way up. I can come at any time, I'm happy to get out of my cave and leave for a while. Because otherwise I sit in front of a computer all day long. Lastly, typography. Now, am I saying you have to use Montserrat or Georgia on everything? No, I'm not. Feel free to use other fonts. These are our what I would call our brand fonts, our brand family of fonts. Usually, typically, you have a sans serif, which is Montserrat. Doesn't have any of the little feet and things on it. Georgia is our serif. It's a more formal font versus a sans serif font, which is kind of a little bit more informal. Now, if I were building something like annual report, shows all the business and numbers and whatever else, I'd probably use Georgia. Would I insert my sans serif? Yes, because I could use it as a they play well together. I'm not saying you have to use these, I'm letting you know that they're there. If you want to use them, these are the ones I use primarily every day. There are a couple other ones that I use. I have a script that I use. I have a very kind of what I call sports ball font that I use a lot when we're talking about social media. So if you see any of the game day posts, I've got a different one that I use for that. And if you want to know those, I'm happy to share them with you. And if you find one you really like and you're like, oh, that's really cool, I'm probably going to think it's really cool too. Unless it's Don Casual, Marker Felt, Papyrus,
Comic Sans.
Homo, Comic Sans, or anything like that. Those I'm probably going to look at you and go, no, you cannot ever use it. So Hunter, you can't use like Comic Sans or Homo or whatever it is that you want to use.
Barcode.
Barcode is hard because you can't really read it unless you can read numbers at the same time. So I put these out here as just so that you know them. Are they required for you to use? No. None of these are really required for you to use. Well, they are, I guess. In some way, shape, or form, are they not?
They have to, whatever they use has to be approved by
Yes.
either you or myself.
Okay. So, and as always, like I've been saying throughout, if you have questions, you can email me. There's my phone number for my office downstairs. Or talk to the nice lady in back. She'll get a hold of me and I'll come up here and I'll be like, oh, yeah, cool. I like that. I was helping Hayden yesterday with logos for his project. And more than that, I was talking with Rosina yesterday about his project while he was doing his intern stuff for me yesterday. I am cool with using old logos, probably not the New York Football Jets logo, because that's really not our logo to use. I don't know how we got to use that, but whatever, I guess, it's history. But that's an old logo, it's a heritage logo, I wouldn't use that in case. But like Dominic was talking about, he's doing some sort of one-off clothing kind of thing, idea, whatever. If he had found something from the 70s, that we had a different font or a different logo in the 70s, like athletics font, like it was a different jet for some reason, could he use that? Sure. He could use that maybe as inspiration. We could digitize it, make it an actual digital file so we can expand it and make it whatever we want. But maybe he uses that as inspiration to create a modern take on something. Most of you are probably, what is it, guess, all of you are maybe NBA fans, or at least have seen like NBA city collection jerseys and all the different jerseys they have. A lot of those teams are using old jerseys or old logos as inspiration to create something new that pays homage to the past. Like I like the old Bucks jersey that had the deer, it was green, and they had the deer come up the side. I know they're doing something, they've done something with that, just like the Cream City jerseys and the Packers and all of their throwbacks and all those kinds of things. Can we do stuff like that? Sure, I think that's cool. And this is where the artistic license part of it comes in. You get a little bit of artistic license. These are one-off projects, right? And they're to benefit school itself, the system itself. So I'm gonna give you a little bit more leeway than I would an outside organization that goes, can we use your logo? Sure, here are the rules, hard and fast. You guys, it's not so hard and fast. So if you see something like you go, well, I wanna do the cross on a table, but I wanna burn it in. Cool. I got a one color logo that we can make a stencil out of, so you can burn your wood. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Love it. But I don't want to use the circle. I don't want to use the circle around the outside of the cross. No, can't do that. I know that's the old logo, but this is the current version of it. You gotta use the circle around the cross itself. Those are things that, like, if you're like, I'm just gonna take away one of the 4 dots. No, you can't take away the 4 dots. That's, no, logo misuse. Sorry, gotta say no, you gotta add the 4 dots back in. Does that make sense? Now you can see why Ms. said you guys were a tough crowd to understand, because you don't, like, no response, no interaction.
It takes them a little bit to process, so once they think about questions, they'll have plenty of questions.
Okay, well, I'm always available for questions. Does anybody have anything right now that's at the tip of their mind? Ms. Bishop?
So let's imagine that, somebody wants to do that thing where they burn into their wood. Do they need to make the file of the logo themselves? Can they ask you for help with that?
I would gladly help. I would rather help and take time out of my day to make sure it's right than have you do it, and then when we get down to it and we're looking at your project and I'm going, what happened here? I would rather help you with that. And if you need help finding resources, then happy to help find resources, whether it's a large, if you need to print a big sticker, I wish I could have brought my big 42-inch wide printer with me. Would have made this a whole lot easier. But do we need to find resources, or do we need to talk to, do I need to get you in touch with somebody over at like Fricky Printing to be able to print something that big, or to be able to cut something out, or do we need to learn how to use the laser engravers downstairs so we can cut half of a stencil or whatever it is. If you're gonna spray paint something and you wanna create a stencil, instead of trying to cut it up by hand, maybe it's better to go into the laser engraver and cut it out in some sort of cardboard or foam core or whatever it is that will hold together easier, so you guys don't have to do that. I'm happy to help with that. Happy to help.
I have another question. And so if somebody wanted to use, like to sort of create a new logo that, like you said, paid homage to the past, would that be something that they would need to do the design of? How much of that do you want them to do on their own, and how much are you willing to do, I don't wanna say for them, but to aid them in the process?
If they come up with something that is we'll call it an homage to something old, like I was talking with Dominic yesterday, if he finds that in 1972, there was a really cool jet logo that we don't have digitally anywhere, but he wants to kind of draw, he wants to take it, and he found the documentation of it, he found a picture or whatever it is, and he can give it to me digitally, I will gladly be the one to take it and digitize it for them, so that it is done correctly. Because all of the logos I showed you, and I'm going to back up here and go back to the Jets logo. Even those. But if we go to the Jets logo or the Cross logo, all of these logos are built in I don't know if you guys have classes here or like a graphics class, probably not. But these are all built as vector images. They're built in a program called Adobe Illustrator. So I can take this, so the cross, when I have the digital file I have it, the cross is only, we'll say 2 inches by 2 inches. Now, if you were to take a photo that's 2 inches by 2 inches and blow it up 10 times as big to 20 inches by 20 inches, you know what happens? Looks crappy, right? Looks all fuzzy and it's called what we would call pixelated. Because that's a raster image. So any photo that you take on your phone is a raster image. It's based in pixels. Your screen on your Chromebook, your screen on your phone, the screen up here is all pixel based. That means little squares of color. So like if your Chromebook screen or your iPad screen is 1920 by 1080, that's the number of pixels wide by the number of pixels tall. If I were to take that and try and scale it up, it's gonna get worse. So, as I go bigger, resolution goes down. Screen resolution is 72 pixels per inch. So if I take it at its full size and I go up, my resolution goes down. If I make it smaller, my resolution goes up. They're inversely proportional. Look at me using scientific and mathematic words.
Proud of you.
I know. That's the only time I know math, when we're talking resolution.
No.
So that's raster images. Vector images can be scaled infinitely without losing resolution. Best example I can give is when I worked at EAA. I took the AirVenture logo, which I built at about 5 inches wide by 4 inches tall, or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I put it on a 12 or 20, I think it was 20 foot by 10 foot tall sign. So I just scaled it. As big as I needed it. It was just as sharp at 5 by 4 as it was at 24 by 12. Vector images are based on Bezier paths, which is some French mathematician named Bezier came up with this long, crazy formula. It's curves based on curves, and this curve informs this curve. You don't need to know it. You just need to know that if I give you a vector file, so an AI file, an SVG file, or an EPS, they can be scaled for as long and as big and as small as you want. So at a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch or 50 inches by 50 inches, they're going to be just as clean as the other ones. Whereas raster images, your photo, so if I take a photo of Jacob right now, and it's 900 by 900 in pixels, and I scale it up to even 1800 by 1800, I've cut the resolution in half. Because I've doubled its size, it's cut the resolution in half. If I shrink it to 450 by 450, I've increased my resolution. I've doubled it. So I'm 72 to 144. So if we're working with raster images, we have to worry about resolution. With the AI files, we do not have to worry about resolution. So I am happy to digitize stuff so that it can be used at whatever size we need to use it.
Awesome. What questions do you guys have for Mr. Hanson? They all know, Mr. Hanson, that they have to brand their project in some way. So everyone has to slap a logo on them.
Don't just slap a logo on, that's bad.
Someplace. So they're gonna have to be thinking about being deliberate about where they wanna put their designs. As they start thinking about these things, they will need you to approve the use of their logo, unless it is something basic. Like if you're using one of the 2 logos on the screen right now, I can easily approve that for you. Because there's nothing special about that. I know the rules, and I won't be able to sleep in my own bed if I don't let you follow them. And so if you want to do something different or unique, that's when you would need to be in touch with Mr. Hanson to figure out what he's gonna let you do, what is possible. He's got pretty good ideas, so if you have a thought in your mind and you just need to talk it through with somebody, that's a good resource. Anybody have any questions?
I'm curious as to what you guys are thinking already.
Yeah, tell Nick what you want to be making, if you already know. Victor, have you completely scrapped your idea?
No,
Okay, tell him what your idea is.
epoxy resin table.
Like what kind of, like a river table?
Yeah,
or
something like that.
Like a river table?
Yeah.
Cool. I've never done a river table, I've always wanted to do one. I think they're really cool. Like how big?
I don't know. I haven't decided on.
So river tables are hard because you gotta get deep pour epoxy because it depends on how like deep your pour is, right? And you may not be able to pour it all at once because the chemical reaction releases heat and bubbles and whatever else. So if you go too deep, like if you're too deep with the pour the first time, it can cause issues with it curing and all these other things, and it can be liquid on the inside, but cured on the outside. It could be a real crazy thing. I think it's cool, like a live edge kind of thing, or
Something, I haven't decided.
my feed is full of epoxy pores and woodworking and whatever else, so that's cool. I think that's cool. Yeah, there's lots of cool ways to, like I could see using like 3D printed logos in the table itself.
I was thinking that same thing too.
Lit tables.
I
and-
think that Victor had that same
I
thought.
think it's cool. There's a lot of ways we can do that. So if, again, if we need to make these into three-dimensional models, that's where creating DX apps, and if you know Fusion enough, we can create, then you can push and pull things and make them three-dimensional and carve stuff out. So we can take a one-color jet and pull it so that we can then print it and make all the crazy things. I don't,
I had never thought of that, that's cool.
yeah, I don't have Fusion downstairs. I would love to have Fusion, but I know where I can get it, so,
We can just give you an engineering computer.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's cool.
Hunter, you're still doing your ping pong table? Tell Nick about that.
Yeah, ping pong table.
Okay, so where are you gonna use the logo?
You also use the cross in the middle,
Just one big cross?
and then like maybe like, there's like the two sides, rock holly, facing in,
Okay.
like that.
If you, I was just thinking this, now this is totally just me thinking, and you don't have to, you can say this is a dumb idea. You could do like I know you wanna redesign the basketball court, but you could do like,
I would love to redesign.
you could do like, your ping pong court could be like the basketball court.
Or, okay, I don't
You
know.
could say no, if that's a dumb idea, you don't have to do that.
No, there's,
But, or what might be fun, he wants to redesign the look of the basketball court anyways, so you could,
Have you go over for me, and I take the idea.
no, that's not what I was gonna say, but
No.
if you had a different, like, you could make your own Kirsten court,
Yeah.
and let that be your ping pong table, and maybe that'll be, something that inspires him to like, wouldn't it be cool to see some of your design on the basketball court?
That's
You
hard
came
to
back after you graduated, like,
it's really
see
hard.
some of your ideas.
So it's really hard to see it. And I don't have, I wish I would have it. I use the cross as a pattern in the background. So if you were to come up here and look, behind the Vision Bites logo, there's a pattern of like wine glasses and auction paddles and food and whatever, because it's all the things
I
that
might
are,
be able to find a
are,
file on here.
are bids and bites. So I could see using like the cross, single color, depending on what like if you were to paint it or whatever it is, like you could do, like I've done a navy background with then just a slightly different color navy, so like it's 80% of our navy, which is probably one of those things, that's where I know, and I'll say this with a little bit of trepidation, there are ways to break the rules without breaking the rules. You gotta know where you can push the box open a little bit and where you can't. So like ping pong table cover, like the actual play surface, could it be navy with then like crosses all the way across it?
Like this?
Yes, so creating a pattern where, like here, it's gray on white, or it's 80% of the navy color on a navy background, so that it's there, and it's subtle, but it's still like, then the lines go across it, and you've got the whole, there's lots of ways we can kind of push and pull the box a little bit, and break the rules, but not break the rules. And I will always say that we can break the rules as the organization, because there are rules. I can change that rule for us, not for anybody else. Like if Miss Bishop was an outside firm, I would tell them, I would give her these and go, you have to follow these rules. You can't do anything different. Sorry, that's the way it is. But when I design something,
Like the Packers, when when you buy stuff in the pro shop, you can buy stuff that is like breaking the rules of their brand, that they would, when they give the logo permission to people to like put on their things, it is this logo and it needs to be the way that they send it and that's it. But when you go to the pro shop and you see all the different opportunities to buy the stuff, you've got your old logos, you've got the retro look of all the things, because they're the rules from the Packers, they can break them,
They have their
but
reasons.
we can't, we're not the Packers.
So there are ways to make, whether it's a pattern like this or the jet, like I could see maybe alternating the cross and the jet.
Oh,
Okay.
that would be cool.
Make it work, or do the jet, like having the jet be big or whatever. There's lots of ways to do this. There's lots of ways to be creative.
Ben Wall is not here, he's at,
See that on there, Dan?
right, he wants to make a foosball table, and he wants the field to be Roncalli.
I could see Columbia blue or navy with the cross in the middle.
But that's not the athletic logo.
Again, there we can maybe get away with some of that stuff.
Okay.
But again, here you're talking about, is foosball really athletics? Or is it a game? It's not really athletics, I wouldn't say it's athletic. But could you use it as an athletic? I'm never sure, I guess.
I think it's, no. What about anybody else? Do you have ideas that you wanna just talk about? Justin, what are you thinking about?
It's like, I don't know how to explain it, I forgot what it's called, hold on.
It's like an odd,
No, it's not automated.
one.
Oh, it's like a lift up coffee table.
He wants to make a lift up coffee
Oh,
table.
I had one of those, that changed Joe's life.
It did.
It did.
It changed his life. That's a cool idea.
That is a
That's
cool
a cool idea. That's something unique that will sell for sure.
Yeah.
We got me tapped
And again, that's where,
it.
so not to be nerdy or whatever else, but say on the side of it, between the legs, so in between here, I'll say if this is your coffee table, in between here, could you cut a big circle out and use the cross as like a brace or as a piece of, a part of the design that is part of this, one of the sides or whatever. There's a lot of ways to do
That would
that.
be a cool, very subtle way of
Correct.
putting the logo on.
Then it's not, it doesn't have to be on the top where stuff could get all over it, but it could be on the side.
Or yeah,
where-
maybe you don't want it to be on the top because you want it to be a piece of your, like, you don't want the logo to be that big. But you could, that would be a.
There's lots of
clever way
different ways to integrate that into a design and have it be secondary and not the, because then maybe somebody buys it and it goes, well, I don't want a big logo in the middle of my table, okay? It's here, it's like part of the skirt around the underside of the table, and they might go, oh, I didn't notice it, that's kinda cool. It's one of those things that you can kinda, it's like the, arrow in the FedEx logo, you guys know what the arrow in the FedEx logo?
Oh.
Oh, man, I feel
Or the 31 in the Baskin Robbins. logo.
correct, 31 in Baskin Robbins, sure, there's all sorts of that stuff. Oh, wait, no,
My computer is really misbehaving. It's done working. for
I
me.
can't see, oh, that's
It's
not.
also really small, sorry.
See if I can-
You're just gonna have to zoom in.
There's no arrow.
Yes, there is.
Just watch, just wait.
FedEx, arrow, pointing right. Movement to the right insinuates.
Okay, so zoom in on the screen and show them it.
I don't think
I think you might be mind blowing people here.
I can't, how do I zoom in? I can't.
Just like
see.
on the touch, on the.
gap between the E and.
Okay, oh, and it's really not letting
Yeah,
you.
it doesn't really do anything.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's
It's a
worse.
touchpad.
Yeah,
Like zoom in with your fingers.
Okay, that's more better.
that's more better. So right here,
Where?
see between the bottom of
Do
the E
you
and the
actually
X?
not see it, or are you goofy?
Right here,
See that? Yeah.
Yeah, is this rage bait?
Oh, I know, I see.
right there.
He drew it out.
Oh,
That is the arrow in the FedEx
I thought it
logo.
was rage bait.
Movement, so anything moving to the right insinuates moving forward. Progression. So that's why you see a lot of like, if there's motion in some sort of logo, like the running W from the Badgers, looks right, looks correct when it's bent to the right. When it's on the other side of the helmet and it's bent backwards, it looks like it's going backwards, it's weird. So, that's the FedEx logo. There's lots of, this is what we would call, what do we wanna call, what was that called?
ask Nick if,
Yeah.
that arrow was intentional.
It was. It was. It was.
That- this-
I get it.
this- if that is interesting to you, graphic design is probably something that is interesting to you.
It was meant to be, it was intentional from the fact of, the idea of, again, movement to the right, going forward, trying to deliver things, motion, going forward. There's lots of different ones. You've got the
Beats logo?
Beats logo, the B and the Beats. Oh wow, when you touch stuff, it works. The face in the LG logo, it's made with an L and a G. L, G. The logo's inside the logo. Baskin Robbins has one. Wendy's, it's a tough one and it's hard to see. Right at the, if I do this, does it work?
It should. You might have to use 2 hands.
No.
Okay, and then,
Right at her collar, M-O-M, mom. Not sure why they put the word mom in the Wendy's logo, but it's there. Just like Baskin Robbins has, there it is right here. There's the Baskin Robbins logo, BR31. They were always around for 31 flavors, yep. Amazon with the smile. Are there any better ones? Some of these are really terrible. Toblerone. Oh yeah. Tostitos. 2 people enjoying Tostitos chips and a bowl of salsa.
what? I never noticed that before. Look at that.
Yeah, here's Wendy's. M-O-M. You got an E inside of an electrical plug. The F1 logo with the F and the 1, right? Usually if I put this one up on screen, everybody goes, that's Panda Express. No, it's the World Wildlife Foundation. There's this one, 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, that's why the N is lowercase. Because all the other letters in 11 are uppercase. But the N is lowercase, and there's a split in the top of the N where it meets that curve to get the 11 in 7-Eleven.
What's the Adidas?
That one I don't know. It's 3 stripes, it represents something, I don't remember what it is. Yeah, there's the Tostitos logo. Is there anything else? There's lots of cool, I mean, you could spend all day. Tour de France, there's a guy on a bike. Forms the R, right? Le Tour de France. He's the R, plus he's riding a bike. Because it's a bike race. I know, exciting stuff, right?
Anybody else have any projects, stuff that they want to talk about? Jake, what are you thinking about?
Can't put my face on it.
Good idea.
I mean, you could, as an offering, have different like little dartboard covers that would be like teachers' faces. Just kidding.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Wow.
That would be funny though. It would be funny.
Wow.
People would buy that.
Who would be the most popular teacher to put on a dartboard?
Okay, but press pause on the video before we answer that question. Just press stop.